Good morning and welcome to the morning call. I'm Bob Sellers here with Jerry Burke and Jerry. We got some feedback on, we're just starting this thing up and so we need to keep our story count up. That comes from a producer we used to work with because you and I have stories and sometimes we get carried away with them, even though I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
we want to make sure that we're offering some value to people to make sure we're going to take a look at some of the top stories of the day. How are they going to be covered? Left, right, and center. And like if it's on the right, what are they leaving out? If it's on the left, what are they leaving out? So that you can be, that smart viewer, like you used to have smart readers, try to educate them if they read hard copy newspapers. But now people are watching TV or watching their phones. So we thought we'd do that. So take
right.
it away.
And we were talking about left, center, right, and how to
Yeah,
read a newspaper and, to try to identify where is that story coming from, you
that's
know?
right.
And,
Right.
everyone's getting locked into these boxes,
Yeah.
instead of trying to be a free thinker. And
Yeah.
I was told I need makeup because I look like a pasty white Irish guy.
Okay. And you look like a propeller head, but we'll deal with that later. Um,
I got it. I'll take that damn fan down.
no, that's
Uh,
okay. We'll deal with that.
yeah,
We're gonna
I'll try to lose it a little bit. There you
you're
go.
gonna start wearing a top hat.
Well, today, it seems like the president's going to have some explaining to do
Yeah.
because after 13 nights of bombing Iran,
Yeah.
a series of explosions broke out at a U.S. military base after
Mm,
missile strikes by Iran last
okay.
night.
Yeah.
So, what's going on? We've decimated their Air Force, we've decimated their Navy. Their Navy's at the bottom of the sea. So, what's really going on?
Well, it
Um,
seems, Jerry, the military folks that I've talked to, of course, early on wanted regime change, right? You saw all those protesters, and they ideally were going to lead to that. But we haven't heard that since like 2 weeks into this. They gave
yeah,
up on, and now I think what we're learning, again, when I talk to military people, we're good at knocking stuff down, right? We're good at
yeah,
breaking, and I don't mean to trivialize that. It's important for our own defense.
yeah,
However, this is asymmetrical. This is they are using what leverage they have, the Strait of Hormuz, and we keep knocking stuff down. And now they're hitting back, and they're also trying to lasso other people into it, so it becomes more of a regional thing. I think they
yeah,
associated some of this with the UK. And the unintended consequences. You and I are old enough to have seen unintended consequences. When you go in somewhere, you think it's going to be
right,
easy, and then it's like who was it? Mike Tyson. You can have a great game plan, but as soon as you get punched, it's like it goes out the window.
right,
We've gotten
and
punched a couple of ways. And look,
right,
I don't want to be anti. We have fantastic forces. We have fantastic technology. That's not a criticism of that at all. It's just we are seeing this unfold in a way where there are now challenges that maybe we didn't anticipate.
yeah. And after Vietnam, we started to hear the phrase "you break it, you bought it." I think
Well,
Colin Powell, used to say that a
Colin
lot.
Powell said that about Iraq and Afghanistan. And what did he call that? The Pottery Barn rule? You break it,
Oh
you
yeah,
buy.
yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
then also, um, Trump was handed a rude wake up call by voters concerned about the economy.
yeah,
Because Iran's a long way away, but my supermarket up the street is killing me,
yeah,
and so is the gas pump. According to an exclusive New Daily Mail JL Partners poll, the cost of living is the most cited driver of Trump's disapproval rating, which stands at 52% of all Americans disapprove of what Donald Trump is doing,
yeah,
certainly with the economy. So
yeah.
what's he going to have to say about that today, or is he even going
Well,
to
when he
talk about
went
it?
down to Georgia, you could tell that when he tried to make fun of the Democrats came up with this term affordability. It's you could tell that didn't really uh, you know, it didn't weigh with the people in the way he's hoping, because anybody that's going to the grocery store, I did some research the other day. Everybody talks about gas prices, right? But you spend about 10 times more on your groceries. And that's what people are experiencing.
Hmm.
And you can blame Trump for some of it, obviously not all of it, but you can blame him for some of it the tariffs and that kind of thing, no question, that's driven things up. The national debt, our bond level, our treasury levels are going up because the government has to borrow so much money. It competes with everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So it tends to push up interest rates. Everybody talks about the debt. No, we're leaving it to our kids and our grandkids. No, but I'm going to blow your mind here, Jerry. I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to see if I can look at this.
Oh, look at you.
A graphic. All right. Now
yeah.
this goes back about 7 years. And
wow, look at coffee.
Yeah, because this it is what people are experiencing. And while you can blame Trump, you can blame Biden, the average person is experiencing this, and it doesn't matter to them. They just want it to stop. Now we look at all the ones at the top, like coffee, eggs. The eggs went up as a result of avian flu. Okay, so they came back down. You've got coffee, but look at the things that everybody has to pay for: fuel oil, home prices, gas utilities, auto insurance. All of those are above 50% over the past 7 years. You've got gas with everybody talks about the gas, but it's more symbolic, I would argue, than something like groceries, which really hit you. Electricity, transportation, restaurants. We're looking at this all the way down. Shelter is up 35%. Used cars, new cars, they're all more expensive. So the point is, that's the real experience people are having. And I put it up there from 7 years back so that it's like we all remember pre-pandemic, okay?
Yeah.
Trump been president then, okay? So whoever you are blaming, go ahead and quote James Carville.
It's the economy, stupid.
Exactly. And I think that's what people are looking at. And Trump is getting into, in my opinion, getting to the point where he's not one of those saying, I feel your pain. He's kind of either mocking it or making clear he's being touched by it.
Yeah. And guess who's back? Tariffs. Donald Trump will slap Britain with a new 10% tariff today, along with pressing ahead with duties on 60 trading partners, including the UK, over concerns about labor.
So, forced labor. The argument is this is called Section 301, and it goes back quite some time. Congress gave the president the power to impose certain tariffs in conditions that are perceived after some investigation to be unfair. So what happened is the Supreme Court, I think it was in March, said, no, you can't use IEEPA, what he had been citing as a problem with the trade deficit, to impose tariffs, right? So he immediately went into, what was it, Section 202, I forget exactly, but he used those temporarily. When did those expire? Today. So now he's using these. This is the kind of thing he has more power over, but whether he's justifying them legitimately, here's what it's over. It's forced labor that all these countries have the responsibility not to trade with other countries that are using forced labor. But let me show you why he's doing this. I'm going to blow your mind again. I have another graph.
Look at you. Come on. Okay, let me see.
This is what he took in. I say he. We're calling them Trump's tariffs. And that went away. Like a couple months ago, it started going negative. And the reason it was going negative is after the Supreme Court said, you need to refund most of those tariffs you took in. And so now he's got to find a way to get back on track to try to bring in money. I think he brought in like 195 billion in tariffs, and 166 billion, I think, have to be refunded. This allows him to impose tariffs again. But there are a lot of conservative economists who would say, you know what, that can be inflationary too.
Interesting. So did you come up with any stories, Bob? Or are you just a talent? Are you just a talent today? You're making graphics.
Yeah, I was quite proud of myself. Something to watch for, in my opinion, is Rand Paul is going after Anthony Fauci, and I think next week he wants to bring him in front of the Senate and talk to him about what has happened. That
Yeah.
Rand Paul argues that there was a lot of documentation, including emails and texts that were deleted because Fauci is hiding something. And I don't know how you feel. Let's leave aside that whole COVID thing, what we do observe is Fauci really, Rand Paul really has something out for Fauci. And
Yeah.
now we're see that unfold. I think that's going to be interesting to watch.
I haven't really seen a lot of reporting on that. Have you?
Oh, well, that's why we're here, Jerry. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will next week when it happens, or whenever he finally gets in front of the Senate and Rand Paul goes after him. Another thing that got my attention is the trading, insider trading.
Oh, yeah.
You want to touch on that? Did you see that also?
Yeah, that's on my rundown today.
Okay.
So Nancy Pelosi's stock trades, Chris Christie's weight. Oh, sorry. These are notes for notes for a speech that Trump is preparing for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You remember the Correspondents' Dinner was postponed because some nut ran down the hall with a rifle.
Yeah,
I mean, people have, and the funny thing is, I forgot that the dinner had been postponed by a guy with a rifle. There's been so much other crazy stuff out there.
Yeah,
but
do
you want
to been to those, right?
Do you want to finish the White House Correspondents' Dinner story and then move on?
I mean, I think it's I've been to a White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it is a place in which there should be some sort of comity between the journalists and the president. But in this case, we don't know that that's going to happen. It seems like Trump wants to go after journalists, but I think journalists are starting to push back more. We saw that with the New York Times. And although he doesn't get much tough questioning in the White House because they'll take away your credentials or whatever. I've seen people lose access by pushing him. It'll be interesting to see because it used to be, even whether it was Reagan or Bush or whoever it was, or Obama, it was a time to come together, give each other a hard time, and move on.
Right.
Trump, you never know.
No, but listen, he's got a bitter personal history with that dinner. You remember it must have been 15 years ago. He sat there at the dinner while Obama, the president, took direct zingers at him and just humiliated him, really, or tried to.
Yeah, I agree with you. And some people say that really put a fire under him that made him want to run. Now, I'm not in his head, so I don't know. But that was an awkward moment. And I didn't think that, I don't know. I didn't particularly like that myself. I think you can pick on
he's been working with a speechwriter, a comic speechwriter, to come up with a whole bunch of jokes. So it's not going to be a pretty night. It's what was the word? Comedy?
Well, COMITY.
Not comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
Yeah.
So,
but he's going to talk about. He's going to talk about Nancy Pelosi's stock trades, Chris Christie's weight, and zingers aimed at CNN are all subjects that may be featured in Donald Trump's speech at the White House Correspondents' redo on Friday.
I think it'll be interesting. I hope everything comes together and it goes off without a hitch. And maybe they share that experience, and because I think all of them were a little bit afraid. I didn't go to this year, but I think a lot of people were a little disturbed. I was at an event that night in DC and got the news ahead of most people. You wouldn't believe what's happening, and it's like, really? So hopefully everything goes well this time.
And speaking of Nancy Pelosi's stock trades,
let's talk about it.
The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill to limit what lawmakers can do when buying and selling stocks. But before the vote, a proposal to add voter ID, the Save America Act, was tacked onto the bill, which is part of Donald Trump's signature election integrity legislation. So that could doom it in the Senate.
Well, when I first saw the story, I saw especially conservatives were saying, can you believe 198 Democrats voted against this, or whatever the number was? And I thought, boy, that is weird. Why would you vote against that? And then I went in and did some research, which we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And it turns out a couple things. One, it doesn't apply to the president.
Right.
So, which a lot of people are like, well, if you're shouldn't that apply to everybody? Although you could make the argument balance of power, separation of powers, but also that SAVE Act, which let's talk about that for a second. I don't know that will doom it. I don't know if this will get through the Senate, but if we talk about the SAVE Act in and of itself, whether the Republicans pass it in the Senate, it looks like Trump is really trying to get Thune on board as a Senate majority leader to get it through. And I don't know what your take on this is, but I think the way it's represented is just, all you got to do is show your ID. It's more than that. However, polls do show that 75% of Americans believe that you should show an ID to vote. So on the left, they may be missing the fact that the way this is advertised, there's a lot of support for it. And then on the left, they could argue, well, wait a minute, it's not just that. It's also that states would have to give up their voter rolls. And then the federal government would have more control over it and maybe justify taking actions because, we have information, they didn't believe whatever.
Look what happened in Jersey. The governor admitted there that they found at least more than 6,000 illegal aliens that were allowed to vote, because in New Jersey, everyone gets a driver's license, no matter if you're an illegal or not. And when you get a driver's license, you're automatically enrolled to vote. Yeah. So
and I think most Americans would say, especially if you're illegal, you can vote. And I think now, are there enough people out there? This is on the right. See, well, there weren't even enough to change the outcome, but certainly the concept is that no, we shouldn't have.
Well, just the other day, Bob, weren't we talking about how there's a restaurant who's asking for ID to buy a chalupa?
Well, that was Steve Scalise was the one who said you got to show your ID to have the pasta at Olive Garden. I'm thinking, I've eaten at Olive Garden. I've never had the show. I think what it was related to, and I may be wrong on this, and somebody could correct us, but I think it was related to, like, if you have the unlimited pasta, I don't know if that's for a night or a week or what. There's some credit involved, so you got to probably cough up a credit card number and some proof that you. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
To equate getting pasta at Olive Garden to that is just kind of funny. I don't know how you are. I think almost every place does require some sort of proof that you are who you say you are when you go to vote.
Well, don't you remember we had to show our COVID cards in order to get into a restaurant or a store?
That still bugs you.
It really does. Because I got 2 of those damn shots, and then when they asked for a third, I was like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done
we were
with
forced to do 2, and I haven't had any since then, and no implications since. I think the concern is that the opponents of this SAVE Act say that it would treat certain people who would be inclined to vote against Trump. It would treat them in a way that would be more difficult. Now, I haven't read it word for word, but my understanding is that, for instance, if you're a woman and you've gotten married and taken on someone else's name, that name is different than your birth certificate, right? So if you registered to vote, do you have to re-register? Like if they say, well, wait a minute, that's not your name, No, it is my name. Well, you're going to have to prove it. So that delays everything. That changed the um, uh, voting list. So there is that argument against it. But I think
Mm.
what the Democrats are up against is if you were just going against having to show an ID to register or prove you're an American, why shouldn't you? You should have to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, it's Friday. We're going to have a break for the weekend, and we'll watch the Sunday shows, and we'll take notes. And then in the news business, a lot of the Sunday shows generate a lot of Monday's headlines. So I
Yeah.
always make sure to sit down with a stack of newspapers and a pot of coffee, and just that's my Sunday morning.
Real newspapers still?
Yeah. Now that I know where to get them.
I think that's it. We'll keep it short
Well,
or up. Short and
breaking
sweet.
news changes everything, you know.
There you go. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Bob. I'll call you.
Okay. Bye.